Forget the singing animals, forget the magic carpet, and forget the charming street rat with a heart of gold. The original story is a gritty, brutal tale of greed, dark magic, and cosmic horror. And here is the biggest secret: the story wasn't even part of the original Arabian Nights. It was added hundreds of years later in 1712 by a French translator named Antoine Galland. Galland heard the story from a Syrian storyteller named Hannah Diab in Paris and secretly slipped it into his published translations, which is why the setting of the real tale will probably shock you. The original text explicitly states, in the capital of one of the large and rich provinces of the Kingdom of China. He wasn't Middle Eastern, he lived in China. But the citizens of this Chinese city were entirely Muslim, pointing to the mythos of the Silk Road. And as for our hero, he was no hero at all. The text describes him as lazy, disobedient, and deeply selfish. His father, a poor tailor, worked himself to exhaustion trying to support him. Instead of helping his grieving mother, he spent his days playing in the streets with vagabonds. He was a parasite, and his vulnerability made him the perfect target. Enter the villain. He wasn't a royal vizier with a parrot. He was simply known as the African magician, hailing from the Maghreb. He had traveled halfway across the world to China for one specific reason. He needed a worthless boy to retrieve the ultimate source of power. The magician approaches the boy in the street, claiming to be his long-lost uncle. He weeps fake tears over the death of the boy's father, gaining his complete trust. To seal the trap, the magician showers the boy and his mother with gold and fine clothes. Blinded by sudden wealth, the boy agrees to accompany his uncle out of the city. They walk far into the desolate mountains, far beyond the safety of the city walls. The magician stops in a narrow valley and builds a fire. He throws a strange, foul-smelling powder into the flames, chanting in a language the boy doesn't understand. The earth violently shakes. The ground splits open beneath them, revealing a perfectly square, glowing marble stone with a brass ring attached to it. The boy is terrified and tries to run, but the magician forcefully shoves him to the ground. The magician pulls the frightened boy to his feet. Under this stone lies a treasure that will make you richer than all the kings of the world. But the magician cannot touch the stone himself. Only the boy is permitted to open the tomb. With a heavy pull, the boy lifts the stone, revealing a dark, narrow stone staircase spiraling deep into the earth. Before he descends, the magician places a simple silver ring on the boy's finger, promising it will protect him from harm. The magician's instructions are strict. Walk through the chambers of gold, touch nothing, and bring back only the old oil lamp at the very end. He passes through a surreal underground garden where the trees bear fruits made of priceless, glowing gemstones. Deep in the furthest chamber, resting on a pedestal, he finally finds it. A completely unremarkable, dusty oil lamp. He stuffs the lamp into his clothes and climbs back up the stairs, the weight of the gemstone fruits he secretly pocketed pulling him down. At the top, the magician demands the boy hand up the lamp before he helps him out. Fearing the heavy gems will cause him to fall, the boy refuses, insisting he be pulled up first. In a blinding fit of rage, the magician screams an incantation, slamming the heavy marble stone shut. The betrayal is complete. The boy is trapped alive in a pitch-black tomb. For 2 days, he sits in absolute darkness, weeping and starving, waiting for an agonizing death. In his despair, he clasps his hands to pray, accidentally rubbing the silver ring the magician gave him. The cave is instantly illuminated as the slave of the ring emerges, a chaotic spirit of swirling, ethereal blue energy. "I am the slave of the ring. What is your command?" The spirit echoes. Terrified but desperate, the boy gives his first command: "Deliver me from this place." In a fraction of a second, he finds himself standing right outside his mother's modest home. He bursts inside and collapses, telling his horrified mother about the magician's deadly trap. The next day, starving and with no money for food, he remembers the dusty lamp he retrieved from the cave. His mother decides to clean it so they might sell it in the market. But the moment she rubs the metal, she summons the true, absolute power of the story, the slave of the lamp. This entity was vastly more powerful than the ring Djinn. It was a cosmic force capable of bending reality itself. Overwhelmed by its terrifying presence, his mother instantly faints, but the boy does not faint. Hardened by the streets and his brush with death, he boldly seizes the lamp. "Bring me food," he demands. In a flash of crimson smoke, 12 solid silver plates piled high with the finest meats and fruits appear before him. It is in this exact moment that the boy realizes he holds the ultimate cheat code to reality. They eat like kings. The next day, the boy takes the solid silver plates to the market and sells them for a fortune. For years, they live in quiet luxury, using the lamp's power to maintain an endless supply of wealth, until one day he sees the Sultan's daughter, Princess Badr al-Budur, and becomes obsessed. He doesn't want to win her heart. He intends to use his cosmic slave to simply take her. He sends his mother to the Sultan's court, carrying a massive porcelain bowl filled to the brim with the glowing gemstone fruits from the cave. The Sultan is utterly blinded by the sheer impossible wealth. No king on earth possesses such treasures. He immediately breaks his promise to marry his daughter to the vizier's son, and gives her to this mysterious, wealthy stranger instead. But Aladdin knows he needs to cement his absolute dominance. He summons the slave of the lamp once more. "Build me a palace," he commands, "one that rivals the heavens, made of solid gold and marble right across from the Sultan's." The slave of the lamp does not build, it manifests reality. Overnight, a monolithic, impossible structure of wealth dominates the city skyline, entirely eclipsing the Sultan's own home. The boy from the streets has become the most powerful man in the empire, ruling through intimidation and limitless magic. But thousands of miles away in the Maghreb, the original architect of this scheme senses a disturbance. The magician uses geomancy, reading the sands, to confirm the boy's death in the cave. Instead of a corpse, he sees the impossible golden palace. He realizes immediately the worthless boy survived, and he has the lamp. Consumed by rage, the magician travels across the world once more, arriving in the Chinese capital. He waits for his moment. When Aladdin leaves the city for a multi-day royal hunting trip, the magician strikes. But he doesn't use a magical attack. He uses a psychological trick. He walks beneath the princess's balcony, shouting, "New lamps for old! Trade your old, broken lamps for shiny new ones." The princess, completely unaware of the bronze lamp's true nature, remembers seeing a dusty, ugly old lamp in her husband's room. Thinking it a brilliant joke, she sends a servant down to trade the source of absolute cosmic power for a worthless piece of copper. The moment the magician has the lamp, he retreats into the desert and summons the terrifying slave of the lamp. "Take the entire golden palace and everyone inside it and transport it to my homeland in Africa." The spirit obeys. With a deafening crack that wakes the entire capital, the golden palace is physically ripped from the earth. In an instant, it vanishes, leaving nothing but a massive, jagged crater in the center of the city. The Sultan wakes up, looks out his window, and realizes his daughter and the palace are completely gone. When Aladdin returns from his hunt, he is immediately surrounded by armed royal guards. The boy, who thought he was a god, is dragged before the furious Sultan in heavy iron chains. The Sultan does not ask for an explanation. He orders the boy to be beheaded immediately. The executioner raises his blade, Aladdin closes his eyes, preparing for the end. But the townspeople who loved Aladdin for his generous wealth threaten to riot and burn the city down if he is killed. Terrified of a violent uprising, the Sultan halts the execution. He gives Aladdin exactly 40 days to find the princess, or he will be executed regardless of the mob. Cast out of the city, stripped of his wealth and completely broken, Aladdin wanders into the wilderness. He realizes he has lost everything. Wandering in absolute despair, the boy stops at a riverbank to wash his face before accepting his fate. As he clasps his hands to pray, he accidentally rubs the one thing he had completely forgotten about: the magician's silver ring. The slave of the ring appears, tearing through the bleak reality of the wasteland. "Bring back my palace and my wife," Aladdin demands. But the slave of the ring bows its head. "I cannot. The slave of the lamp is my master. I cannot undo its magic." Aladdin thinks fast. "If you cannot bring the palace to me, then take me to the palace." In a flash of blue light, he is instantly transported halfway across the world, directly into the scorching deserts of the Maghreb. Waiting for nightfall, he silently scales the massive walls of his own stolen home. He sneaks into the royal chambers and finds the princess, who is overjoyed to see him alive. She tells him the magician keeps the bronze lamp hidden inside his robes at all times, making a direct attack impossible. Aladdin hands her a vial of powerful, ancient sleeping draught. They concoct a dark, deceptive plan. That evening, the princess invites the magician to her chambers, pretending she has finally accepted her fate as his new bride. Seduced by his own arrogance, the magician accepts a golden goblet of wine from her hands, unaware it has been laced. He drinks deeply. Within seconds, the powerful draught takes hold, and the dark sorcerer collapses lifelessly to the floor. Aladdin emerges from the shadows, retrieving the ultimate source of power from the fallen villain's robes. He rubs the lamp, summoning the terrifying cosmic force of smokeless fire once more. With a single command, the entire golden palace is lifted from the African desert and instantly dropped back into the crater in China. The Sultan is overjoyed, and Aladdin is fully restored to power. But the story does not end here. Back in the Maghreb, the magician had an older brother, a sorcerer even more wicked and powerful than he was. Learning of his brother's demise, he travels to China, seeking absolute revenge. He ambushes a revered holy woman named Fatima. He disguises himself perfectly in her holy veils and robes, infiltrating the golden palace under the guise of offering blessings. He gains an audience with the princess and uses dark, subtle suggestions to plant a deadly idea in her mind. He tells her the golden palace is flawed. To be perfect, it needs the egg of a rock, a legendary cosmic bird, hung from the central dome, believing the holy woman. The princess begs Aladdin to summon the lamp and requests the egg. Aladdin agrees. He summons the slave of the lamp and casually commands it to fetch the rock's egg. But the spirit reacts with apocalyptic fury. The rock is its ultimate master, a cosmic deity it worships. "You ask me to hang my own master for your decoration?" it roars. "I should reduce you to ash, but I know you were tricked by the magician's brother." Armed with the truth, Aladdin confronts the disguised sorcerer and strikes him down in a sudden, dynamic flash of action. With the magician and his brother gone, Aladdin's absolute power is truly unchallenged. No one can ever threaten him again. The true story of Aladdin is not a tale of a pure heart earning a reward. It is a gritty saga of survival, ruthlessness, and absolute cosmic enslavement.